SpaceMobile is entirely focused on the direct-to-device opportunity. We were founded about 8 years ago with some initial patents to solve some of the problems that exist with the 3GPP protocol. And we have since launched 5 satellites. They're the largest satellites ever launched commercially in the low Earth orbit, and we're getting ready to launch one that's 3 times the size next month. We've, over this 8-year journey, raised about $5 billion in support of this network build-out. Think of us as a LEO constellation that's entirely focused on cellular. And we've done that because, first, from a technology point of view, and then second, we've partnered with operators. So we've built relationships and agreements with over 50 mobile network operators globally who have nearly 3 billion subscribers. We're entirely focused on the 6 billion mobile phones that are in circulation today and connecting them when they're going in and out of connectivity on a daily basis, whether you live, work, and travel. We do this with really differentiated architecture in orbit that we're vertically integrated and we're building now. And we do it as part of the ecosystem. The ecosystem is very important. This is not an ecosystem that we own entirely. It's an ecosystem that we participate in. And the mobile network operators are a very, very important piece. And they are the ones that we pay our service revenue to on our phones and the 1 trillion TAM. So we were founded around this opportunity. As it's grown in interest over the years, we think we have the right strategy, which is a broadband first strategy. We're delivering large arrays that can do broadband to phones. And that's critical. We think it's a big market, and we've organized our business around that market being big. So when we talk about market size expectations, we think it's going to be big. I don't know how big, but we're entirely organized as a company around a good outcome on that. And we're getting ready to launch our constellation, so network deployment is where we're focused, and revenue generation ramping in 2026 is our next step.
Yeah, well, I think Paul mentioned a good point, which is that it's about making phones work better. We have pretty good, incredible terrestrial connectivity given where we started 30 years ago from 0. So the notion that we have tremendous terrestrial connectivity is fantastic. In the right direction for civilization. But our phones don't work perfectly now. We do not have 100% geographic connectivity. When our phone doesn't work, we're mad about it. And we know that all of us, including every successive younger generation, is going to pay for connectivity over most other household items. So I think the demand drivers for connectivity are incredible. The access to 6 billion phones, which are now standardized post 3G, is incredible. And our strategy is to do a native cellular service on top of what's already being done. This is not a tack-on texting thing. So we think that market is big. I think market research has it at tens of billions of dollars. It's starting now, so we don't know yet. I'm not smart enough to know how big it'll be, but our company is entirely organized around providing value to the end customer and value to our customer, the MNO, and how big that gets. We're levered to that upside, but I think we see a good runway to tens of billions of dollars in the end state of revenue being created, and that's value that makes the phone work. And there's several customers. There's one, it's the customer who's in and out, who doesn't really have good connectivity, who will pay for that gigabyte. There's the customer, like many of us, who probably have good ability to pay and will pay for that convenience factor. And then there's the buyer who, just from a pure brand marketing perspective, doesn't think their phone works very well. Because we have evolving and imperfect networks, and the handoffs aren't great. And so we think selling additional connectivity when you don't otherwise have it, when your phone is dead in your pocket, is very valuable, and that there's a significant customer there, and that market is tens of billions of dollars. And more spectrum is better than less spectrum. Our claim to fame among several in building this industry out is that we have a really large satellite. And the benefits of a really large satellite is a lot of power in orbit, and the ability to put a lot of service down on the ground, and the ability to manage cellular interference standards with that large satellite. And so that's where we started from. And in doing that, as a byproduct of our carrier relationships, we had to use their spectrum because we didn't have any of our own. And so the spectrum's in the phones. Between our low band and mid band satellites, they're tunable to over 1,000 megahertz of spectrum, of cellular spectrum that's in phones today, and we use it in places that they don't use it. Through the miracle of carrier aggregation and other 3GPP standards that we've added on to, compatible with today's phones, we can recombine spectrum. That's how AT&T and Verizon came together as part of our solution in the 850 megahertz band, is that we took stranded spectrum that was legacy 2G, 3G and put it back together. and making it useful in the US. And so that's what a large satellite in orbit with a lot of power and our technology can do. And alongside that, we were fortunate enough to sign up earlier this year long-term 80-year access rights to L-band in the US. And we've also made other MSS spectrum moves globally. But we think that both strategies are great, both have pluses and minuses, but having access to as much spectrum as possible, being able to partner with the carriers and bring more stuff to the carrier relationship is very valuable strategically and is going to be part of this evolution. And I think we're decades away from a notion where we're pushed down to marginal economics. This is a land grab, a big build out, however you cut it. And the more assets you have to the party, technology, relationships, spectrum, capital, the better off you are. And that's sort of we're focused a long time. And the model we've always driven is an add-on model, a 50-50 rev share for add-on revenue. And of the 4 definitive agreements we've signed with AT&T, Verizon, Vodafone, and STC out of Saudi Arabia, we've got a cumulative $1 billion of take-or-pay revenue across those contracts. So we think that an add-on business model is a smart way to go for a broadband product, and we think that the value is there for the customer to pay, some percentage of the customer base to pay. And over time, some of that may be included in premium plans. There's lots of models. There's late hour offloading, there's edge offloading, there's disaster recovery, there's backup options, there's standalone options. There's a lot of different models, but at the moment where we're starting the contractual and commercial journey, it's with an add-on product, which you see across the evolution of decades of the wireless industry, including with today's international passport model when you land abroad. So that's, I think, a smart way to start to build this product out and aligns interest across revenue generation, churn reduction through customer satisfaction, and brand marketing, frankly. So I think that's a smart way to do it. It's a smart way to align interests, and it's how we've always attacked the problem. We're hoping to operate in a world that has 6 billion phones in it. So the ecosystem approach is totally different than you might see in the fixed broadband business. And from the outset, our approach is very mobile network operator centric, but we have investment from American Tower, leading tower company in the world, invested twice. We have investment from Google, who has the largest operating system with 3 billion Android users in the history of mankind. But on top of the mobile network operator approach, that's really where we've made our bet, because we think that's where the services stand is, that's where the users are, that's where folks will value rich media, broadband, video, the stuff that we do on our phone when we're every day. And that means Vodafone has invested 3 times, that we have a 5-year mutually exclusive contract in all 24 of their markets globally, including a joint venture in Europe. AT&T, with whom we have a mutually exclusive contract in the United States. Bell Canada, with whom we have a mutually exclusive contract in Canada. And STC, we just signed up with a mutually exclusive contract in some locations over as many as 10 years. So for us, we've made our bet with the mobile network operators. They've been in the room with us for years and years and years developing this product, and their C-suite is aligned with us. And for those who have said, well, these investments are small, they're not meaningful, we just announced last week on our earnings call for the first time cumulative take-or-pay agreements of over $1 billion in future revenue commitments. In addition to prepayments, including $175 million coming in this month from STC. So we think mobile network operators are our partner of choice, but we love the ecosystem, we want to grow the ecosystem, and that's our strategy.